So I just time traveled around 10 years into the future. And before you say this is some hocus pocus like bullshit, hear me out. So currently I'm studying medicine. I'm in my first year. I'm 22. And I went to this event for like med trainees down the line. So these are people that followed the med pathway and that are like 8 to 10 years ahead of me. So they would be around like 30ish, 30ish. So that's our like rough age. And basically, I had the opportunity to talk to them, hear about their experiences, what they were like, and kind of how like they were preparing for exams, their future job, careers, and all of that. And when I sat in the room of like they were having like this presentation right before like doing their exams, and the teacher that ran the entire workshop was probably the most like condescending person I've ever seen. Like his advice for people to do well on exams was try not to wet your exam paper too much with your tears and actually write something down. So that probably gives you an idea of the extent of like, the advice that he was giving. And he literally had this exercise in class where he was like, everyone close your eyes and raise your hand if you think you failed that mock test that you just did in the morning. And over half of like the room just raised their hands. And then he was giving this like speech of like advice that was not very helpful at all. And then at the end of his presentation, he was like, "So how do you all feel?" And it was just dead silent. Like no one responded at all, and no one even clapped in the end. So that was definitely like quite a shock. I thought, okay, maybe like the medical education system is just like that, or maybe it was just this teacher in particular. So afterwards, I had the opportunity to actually talk to some of the students. Well, not really students; they're more like trainees now. Again, they're like 10 years like older than me, and I was basically telling them that right now I had two options. I could continue down med, or I could take a gap year, like just to explore things other than med. And one of the girls I was talking to, she was like, you know what? If I was in your position, I would have been happier if I made a different choice. And so she essentially said like she would have been in a much like better, more content position if you just made a different choice when she was like my age. And honestly, that like really just made the entire experience so much more real. Like I just didn't realize like just these like tiny decisions play such a big role in like where you'll be like 10 years down the line. And like it was very funny like cuz I was very curious why she said that and I was like, okay, well, why did you choose this pathway to go down this like med pathway if like you would have been happy otherwise? And as soon as I mentioned the word choose, like why did you choose? She just like bursted out in laughter. She was like like she just realized in that moment that she did make this choice, but she felt like she didn't have a choice. And so the implication of that is like she kind of just follows society's expectations or her family's expectations or her friends or whatever, going down this pathway where she didn't even make the conscious choice to go down. And I think that was the most like depressing thing, that you can spend 10 years on like a particular career path that you didn't even really want to do yourself. Like you might want to on the surface just because like everyone's doing it, so it's easier to just go down that path. But like what I've realized is if you actually ask yourself, do I want to go down this career path? Oftentimes it's very hard to say. And so this entire experience really taught me the importance of just constantly just questioning and exploring different things before locking yourself into one career path. And I think that's the most dangerous thing. And so the entire thing, this entire experience of meeting these med students was like time travel because if I continued down the path of med, 10 years down the line, I would have been in the exact same position and potentially with the exact same regrets, thinking, wow, why did I make this choice? Or I would have been happier if I made a different choice when I was like, 10 years younger. And this isn't like, a message of not doing medicine or doing medicine. It's more like whatever pathway you choose, just be very intentional with why you're choosing it. Because you don't want to go 10 years down the line and look up and raise your head and realize, wait, where did all the time go? And why, like, who made this choice for me? So, this time traveling experience really felt like I went in the future into a very dystopian, like, reality. But the thing about this dystopian reality is, well, it could have been my reality, and it may be 10 years down the line. So right now, that's why I'm just taking the gap year, trying to explore as much different things as I can, and just making the most out of every day, getting as much information as possible. So honestly, like if you're watching this right now and you have any like feedback or any like insights about like picking like careers, I'm honestly like like very keen to hear feedback because it's an area I've struggled with a lot, and yeah, I could really do with some extra thoughts. So hope you have a great day, and yeah, enjoy.